Welcome to Chromatic Counsel Podcast, the podcast where law, leadership, and color collide. I'm your host, Carrie Heaps, and I have a great show lined up for you today. A few quick announcements. If you are licensed in Texas and Florida and you are looking for tech credit in Florida and you need MCLE credit in Texas, I hope you will check out Digital Tells, How to Read Body Language on Zoom. There's a link in the show notes below so you can register for any of the upcoming classes or get the webinar on demand. I want to dive right into today's episode, and I'm excited to have with me today Robert Weiss. Robert's the executive producer and director of MultiVision Digital. It's a New York-based video production and video marketing firm. Over the past 15 years, he has produced more than 1,700 videos, helping businesses from solo entrepreneurs to Fortune 500 companies use video strategically to drive leads, sales, SEO, and long-term client loyalty. And today he's going to join us to talk about why video is on the same inevitable adoption path as websites and SEO, and how attorneys can get ahead of the curve. Robert, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, Carrie. Hello, everybody who's listening or watching.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to have you here. Like I said, it's been there's so many exciting things happening, I think, with legal marketing, or marketing in general, and video marketing, AI. There's just so much going on. So I would love for you, just first and foremost, if you could just share, I did a brief intro, but just share a little bit more about you and kind of how you got started doing what you're doing.
Oh, wow. I'll try to make that really quick because it kind of is a story. I started this video production business without any background in video. And I guess similar to the reasons why many law firms think that video is out of the box is the reason why I started,
Hmm.
right? Because my background is in sales and marketing and digital. Back in the day, I was selling websites when there was no website builders or WordPress, and then I got into email marketing and SEO when there was no Constant Contact and MailChimps out there. Everything had to
Yeah.
be built. And websites, email marketing, SEO, even social, those are things that were once out of the box
Hmm.
for law firms and attorneys and most businesses. I don't need a website. Oh, email marketing is spam, right?
Hmm.
And those are undisputed things that most every company and most every lawyer law firm does these days. And it's a no-brainer.
Hmm.
And that's where
Yeah.
video is going. So back, 15 years ago, I kind of saw the writing on the wall and I started the business without any video production background. And now I've got a small crew. Uh, I've got great clients and repeating clients, and I really think with video, it hasn't even crossed the chasm yet. So if you're listening and you're like, "Oh, I'm late to the game with video because there's so much video out there," which there is,
Hmm.
you're not late to the game with video.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, mhm.
And video feels kind of out of the box for so many attorneys. And why do you believe it's actually becoming unavoidable in the next couple of years?
Think about what other marketing mechanisms attorneys have, like social, text, images, phone calls, advertising, billboards. Um, Most of those have pictures of the attorneys on them,
Hmm.
right? And why, right? And why do they blog? Why do they present? To present the thought leadership and present who they are as a person. There's no better mechanism than video
Hmm.
to achieve who am I? Where are my expertise? What is my quote unquote bedside manner? What do I look like? What's my personality? How do I talk? And that helps build the know, like, and trust factor
Hmm.
and convert clients, whether they get a referral to you or they're out searching. Because if they're out searching, they're looking for answers to their problems. And from a consumer standpoint, video gives the most amount of information in the shortest amount of time. That's what people want.
Hmm.
And they do get to know you. They can see you.
Hmm.
And if you have multiple videos over time, they might see you. I'm going to go with a guy now with, I have a little scruff today.
Hmm.
I'm wearing a nice button down, but I also have videos where I'm wearing a t-shirt. I might
Hmm.
be clean shaved. I might be standing in a studio in a different setting. They can get to know you a little bit more and be either convinced by the referral that they got, you're the person, or, call you because they've been convinced out of their own research that you're the person because of what video gives them.
And I love that's the one thing too, like with video, people know that it's you. They can see you. They, like you said, sometimes you're casual, sometimes you're dressed up in a suit, and this could be for anybody, any
Yeah.
attorney, any business owner, really. From your experience, because you've produced a lot of videos, what's the biggest misconception that's out there that for attorneys that they have about using video for marketing? Like, what do you hear the most from potential clients?
Oof, that's a hard one because like there's so many things that stop attorneys from doing video. Um, literally, I had somebody the other day say, "Well, I'm only paying $200 per video," and it shows that they're only paying $200 a video, right?
Hmm.
Um, there's so many different things. It's really hard to answer that, but I'll go with, you know, um, they think they need to write a script. They think they need to be perfect.
Hmm.
Uh, they have zero marketing plan. They don't know what they're going to talk about.
Hmm.
Like they have no ideas. Um, all these things that if they get the professional help,
Hmm.
they will overcome these pretty quickly.
Hmm.
And video production is not just cameras and equipment,
Hmm.
right? Most of the stuff that I do has nothing to do with the cameras and equipment. That's just the byproduct of us executing all the professional services that
Hmm.
we and that's also a big kind of misconception out there.
Hmm.
Attorneys are a professional service. They pay
Hmm.
for professional services. They will receive a professional service from a
Hmm.
video production company.
And I see a lot of attorneys that are out, like on for Instagram, for example, and they're doing the shorts. And sometimes you can tell that it's video production. People are coming in to do that. And then other times they're doing it almost like, they're doing it in their office. Somebody else is shooting it. And I think either way, sometimes, again, I think it's like that real touch that it's actually them. But kudos to them, I think, for getting out there and putting
Hmm.
themselves
For
out
sure.
there because I
Yeah.
think that is hard for a lot of attorneys. I find a lot of them can be a little bit more on the introverted side. They're really not comfortable, which surprises me because they have to go to court, and be that tiger in court and really, put on a show per se. So, what is so video first marketing strategy is something that I wanted to talk with you about. What is that, and why does it tend to produce a higher return on investment than uh, just treating video as like a one-off project? What?
Okay, so that's a couple questions there, but I do want to talk about the Instagram stuff, right?
Mhm.
We support like every attorney should be doing video themselves,
Mhm.
right? It doesn't always have to be the polished video production company type of content. But segueing into the answer to your video first marketing strategy question, right?
Mhm.
Um, you create video for the right place at the right time. You're not creating one video. That Instagram video is going to be on your blog post, is going to be on your homepage, is going to be a
Mhm.
testimonial,
Mhm.
right? Those are different pieces of content. Instagram, blog post, which is thought leadership,
Mhm.
homepage, which is like more of a firm overview, and a testimonial. Those are four different types of content,
Mhm.
right? Those are four different types of videos and potentially four different types of budgets that you
Yeah.
apply to that.
Yeah.
Okay. And with the Instagram, that probably you can't put that in an email nurturing campaign,
Mhm.
probably, right? But with a thought leadership video that you create for your blog, which is meant to support search and client conversion, that will last for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, maybe because it's evergreen piece of content, you
Mhm.
can execute a video first marketing strategy. And basically, what that means is just that, taking that video first. And then I've got a little graphic here of, doing all these different things with this,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
putting it into your follow-up emails, website, blog posts, social media, on a one-off email nurturing campaign or multiple campaigns, or maybe in a sales follow-up one-off email. So you're being planned and thoughtful about what type of content to create.
Mhm.
And then you're also being planned and thoughtful of how you're going to use that
Mhm.
video. Again, a thought leadership subject matter expert project, which might output 5 or 6 videos in a day, versus a customer testimonial, which might just give you one video.
Mhm.
You kind of need both of those,
Mhm.
right? All of that
Right.
kinds of content, but you're going to use them very differently in the sales process and in your SEO social media process.
And a lot of times I think attorneys feel intimidated by being on camera. I think it's different when they're presenting in person, but like that whole thought of sitting down, like even just on a Zoom,
Yeah.
can be intimidating for people. And it is what it is. But how do you help professionals kind of get past that hesitation and just like, hey, you need to go ahead and do this and just focus on results, not focus on, like you said, making everything perfect. But I find sometimes being imperfect is actually better sometimes.
So this might just be my Virgo personality, but you said get past that hesitation, and I can't do that.
Mm,
They need to do that. But if they're open to get past that hesitation, then that's where the handholding comes in and the professional services to guide them on what topics to talk about,
mhm,
right? How to prepare for the camera, how to dress, how to act. And then when we're on camera, to
mhm,
get the coaching and directing that they need in order to be natural and who they are,
mhm,
right? That's we'll call it the secret sauce that has nothing to do with the cameras and equipment.
mhm,
And that's what we do. So um the second thing is to build your mojo. We have a remote program that's great for attorneys where we use smartphones and we do shooting. It's great for subject matter expertise. But the thing is that we provide the coaching and directing, and the program is 3 months,
mhm,
4 videos per month. The reason that we do that and have that program is at the end, not only will they get the video deliverables, but they'll build their mojo up and they'll understand after this after well, sorry, the second time that they shoot, they've seen the videos from the first time.
mhm,
They're like, oh, okay, now I kind of understand a little bit more. And then the third time they've seen the videos from the first and second time, and then they're trusting the process more. They understand how to behave in front of the camera, that to bring their hands up, when to
mhm,
stop and start, and things of that nature if they are quote unquote, messing up.
mhm,
And then they also know to, which is what I'm doing now. I'm thinking to do don't stop
mhm.
because
Yeah.
that's great. That's what people do when they're having a natural conversation like this, that they're up on stage, they're talking to a client. They're not like, "Oh, I'm sorry, let me do that over again."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And and that's natural in human nature, and we want the videos to mimic being human,
Mhm.
as
And
well as being professional in the subject matter expertise.
oh, of course. And like you said, it's they have to get over that. And I remember years ago before I even got into doing like little videos, I the lady who told me, Carrie, you need to give me some video content. I'm like, I don't want to do that. You do it. And she goes, I can't. You're the subject matter expert. And I was like, oh. So I had to really kind of just, because I was telling her, well, I want to wait till my hair grows out. I want to lose some weight. I like, just me being a woman. I'm like, there were certain things I wanted to look a certain way. And she's like, if you keep waiting, you're never going to do this. So just do it. And I did. And Now it's just like second nature. And you're right. And you can't wait for everything to be completely perfect. You just have to go out there and do it.
Yeah, and
Um,
I'm sure it took you a couple reps to get it
mhm,
down, but now you're comfortable with it, and you're okay with pausing or whatever and not being perfect because in the aggregate,
mhm.
it's the message and communication that people really care about, not necessarily, oh my gosh, my hair is messed up today.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And again, that was just, and I remember even before I got into speaking, it was the same thing. I kept waiting to apply and to put myself out there. And same thing, I had someone else who told me, if you keep waiting like this, you're never going to do it. Even if you meet your goal of what you want to look like weight
yeah.
wise or whatever, you're still going to find another reason to not do this. So
I'll tell you
just
a
do
funny
it.
story though. We worked with an accounting firm years back, and we had a series of partners coming in because we like to do something called batch producing. I think we'll
Hmm.
talk about that in a minute, which means doing a lot of videos. But one of the partners did not use their video,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because he thought he was too fat, which spurred him to lose 30 pounds.
Hmm.
So not only so for
Yeah.
a while there, I was like, not only do we create video, but we help you lose weight.
Yeah, well, the camera, and again, I just remember this because I modeled many, many, many years ago, back when I was 19, 20 years old, and the camera does put weight on you. I mean, that is true. But I was just like, when I first started doing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, but again, you have to kind of get past that and go, this is my message. One of the gentlemen that I had on the show, David Holt, he is an attorney. He has a like a healthcare type law firm, and he all of his staff, they all work remotely because it's the type of law he doesn't really have to go and meet with clients in person. And I remember when we did his show, we got photo bombed, or I should say Zoom bombed, by because he worked from home. He has a dog, and his dog was like, what are you doing, and just kind of got up in the picture. But it was so funny, and I even told him, I said, it's interesting because animals, sometimes when you have those in videos, animals and babies get higher views. Like, people are like, oh wow,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
cat or a dog or a baby. So yeah, sometimes it's the things that happen that it's like the bloopers or
real.
whatever can get, yeah, they get, and I think it adds that real element sometimes too.
Yep, for
Do
sure.
you find with law firms that there are certain law firms that are more open to doing video, like, for example, personal injury, or do you find like the family law, estate planning, or is it really a mix?
It's a mix. It's a mix. I think it's really like who's that firm who had the cell phone first, who did their website first. It's
Hmm.
still very early adopter. I mean, personal injury attorneys are more apt to advertise
Hmm.
like television wise, but they're
Hmm.
not necessarily doing video for thought leadership and subject matter expertise to drive search. There's very few firms out there that really have a thoughtful and deliberate strategy,
Hmm.
which means planning, shooting, marketing,
Hmm.
wash and repeat. Going back to the example I had where you've got, subject matter expertise, firm overview video, testimonials, and social media. Those are
Hmm.
four kind of different business objectives, and typically four different rounds of shooting, right? So from a budgetary standpoint, like how many of these can you do in a year? Let's say you could do all four of these in a year,
Hmm.
right? So that's, once every 3 months. Well, then that's year two, right? You got to do this again. So that's what I'm talking about. And it's kind of going through this cycle a few times till the attorneys understand the planning of this, that you need all of these, not just one kind of video, and
Hmm.
then shooting it. And how do you market it? Because you're going to market these videos a little bit differently,
Hmm.
right? So going through that cycle a few times until they really understand that process.
So tell us about batch production. Why is it especially effective for busy attorneys?
Okay, so let's talk about batch production first. Um, the question that I usually say is like, would you ever make one cookie?
Hmm.
Right? You would never like get all the ingredients out, spark the oven, roll the dough, bake everything to make one cookie. You make a batch of cookies. So
Hmm.
that's the methodology when you have a production, whether it's remote or on location. There's a certain level of investment that you will have to get the pre-production done, the planning, the crew there, the setup, whatever that is,
Hmm.
to do one video. So whoever's listening, never ask a video production, how much is it going to cost me? Right?
Yeah.
Challenge them with like, here's a budget that I want to spend. What can you do? And here's my business objectives. I have some ideas
Hmm.
and let them take it from there. So batch production is creating a lot of videos. So if it's a subject matter expertise video
Hmm.
and I was there for a day, I could create X amount of videos.
Hmm.
But if they had a larger budget, I could be there for 2 days. I could create 2x or maybe even 2.5x videos because I don't have the setup and breakdown time twice. I only have it
Right.
once. I could be
Right.
more efficient with my time. Okay. I'll give you another example that I had yesterday uh, with the whiteboard. So we were talking about doing a practice area overview video.
Hmm.
Okay. They were talking about one video, and I basically said the same thing with batch production and said, okay, so for the practice area overview video, you're going to have about 4 people on camera talking
Hmm.
about different areas of the practice. Well, what if we kept those people there for another 5 or 10 minutes? Could they talk about one specific topic from a subject matter expert standpoint? Obviously, the answer was yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with nominally extra budget, we'll call it the icing on the cake budget,
Hmm.
we could have the firm overview video, and then we could also get 4 other subject matter expert videos done.
Hmm.
So you have the firm overview video, which serves one business objective, and the thought leadership stuff, which serves another business objective, all done in a production.
Hmm.
Okay. Would it be more budget? Yes, it would.
Hmm.
But it's so much more valuable and productive with everybody's time because you're
Hmm.
getting more content done.
Hmm.
So that's the value of batch production.
And do you find like when you go into a law firm like that, that everybody else in the office is pretty open to being included? Or do you get like a little bit of pushback with that? Like
Yeah,
there's like a
it's
little
both.
bit of,
And yeah, and if somebody doesn't want to be on camera, that's fine. I mean, we typically will know about that in advance. We won't shoot them. And if something happens, we can always just take them out and edit and blur them out or not use that take.
hmm. So once you have this done, you've worked with a firm and the videos are done, how does video specifically help them convert? So converting prospects from clicks to calls and calls into casework and
Mhm.
so forth.
Yeah. I think it's going back to kind of the first things we said. Like, there's no better digital medium out there that helps convince somebody that you're the person
Hmm.
because they can see you,
Yeah.
they can hear you, they can feel you, they can get the information that they need to say, you know what, I like this person. Like, I'm gonna give them a call.
Hmm.
And you know what? If they don't like you, that's great because they're not gonna like you in person.
Yeah.
And maybe
Not
that's
everybody's your client. Yeah.
exactly. You know, Um, and also from like a search and social and all this other stuff, like video ranks,
Hmm.
the highest performing content on social media. If you include it in emails, like maybe you have email nurturing campaigns or newsletters, it helps open rates and click-through rates from an SEO standpoint. Right now, anyway, Google and search engines don't read video.
Hmm.
But what it does do is help dwell time, which is a super key ranking factor with Google. And dwell time is you find a result on search, you go to that page and you stay there, you dwell there because
Hmm.
people watch video, like most people will scan, but if there's a video there, people are more apt to click and watch. That holds their attention, and multiply that after all the clicks that your website gets, and that's going to help you rank.
And if there's an attorney that's listening that's like, you know what, I've been thinking about doing video, I'm going to make this a priority for 2026, what's the smartest first step for them to take?
Um, I mean, my knee reaction is give me a call, but
Well, of course, yes,
yeah, I mean,
definitely.
that's the first thing. But I would say two things, twofold. Um, start to ideate business objectives first. We have a saying is when you first start thinking about video, the first thing to do is to forget about video.
Mhm,
So this practice area, okay? The reason that we talked about this is because it was a new practice area that they were developing,
mhm,
right? Or doubling down on. They wanted to increase market share in that practice area. That was
mhm,
their business objectives, and they were going to go to conferences around that practice area. So if healthcare is important to you, don't do a firm overview video or do thought leadership videos on bankruptcy.
mhm,
Do stuff on healthcare because that's where you're going to be out in the market, spending time, money, and effort, right? So that's the
mhm,
first thing. And the second thing is um, reach out to a video production company and talk to them about, ideas.
mhm,
Again, go to them. I'm comfortable with 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, whatever that number is to you,
mhm,
and say, here's my business objective. What can we do with this?
mhm,
Right? And there are times where you will want to create one video or create more. Going back to this, if somebody said, how much would it be to create a practice area overview versus, hey, are you open to doing this? Again, this is going to be nominally more, a little percentage more. They're going to get a lot more value out of that,
mhm.
right?
Right.
But at least we kind of know what they're comfortable with and we can propose those things to them.
Yeah. Now, as you know, the show is called Chromatic Counsel, and I want to ask you because obviously you work with a lot of attorneys, being on video, clothing and color become part of the message, whether, we intend for them to be or not. So do you have
Yep.
recommendations? Do you tell people to like, hey, it's better for you to wear these certain colors? Do you try to implement more from their logo colors? Like, how do you all
Mhm.
typically approach color in the video and like color with what they're wearing? Or do you kind of go that far?
We have one recommendation. Well, actually, just maybe two. Um, is wear clothing that you would typically wear to a first client meeting,
Hmm.
whatever that means to you.
Hmm.
Because a litigator versus a tech attorney versus a healthcare attorney, they might wear different clothing that's
Hmm.
appropriate to their industry.
Yeah.
So that's what their clients want to see them in.
Hmm.
Colors don't matter so much anymore. I used to say stripes, but
Hmm.
with the cameras these days, those two things don't matter so much anymore. I mean, like the shirt that I'm wearing today probably wouldn't be wearing 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Right? But now it's okay with the technology.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't wear anything super crazy, super bright. Think about appealing to, the masses. And again, keep the golden rule of wear something that you feel comfortable in that you would typically wear to a first client meeting,
Hmm.
whatever that is.
Yeah, and you're definitely right on that. We had another attorney on, I guess it was a couple of months ago, and he was talking about when I asked him this question because he was like, he works with a lot of small business owners, sole proprietors and so forth, and he's like, I can't wear a suit. I have to wear business casual when I go to meet them because I gotta have to kind of meet them on, they're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, or if I show up in a three-piece suit, it automatically you don't you're not connecting. You're
Yep.
not connecting with that person. So I love that you shared that. So I want to ask you too, just kind of in closing. So looking ahead 3 years, 5 years down the road, what do you think will separate law firms that win with video from those who they waited too long to get into the game?
Yeah, it's really firms that are starting now because it'll take a firm if they've dabbled in video or they haven't really done video,
Hmm.
it'll take you again 2 years going back to the cycles, right? Like you've got
Hmm.
four different business objectives we talked about before. You can't do all of them at one time.
Hmm.
Even with unlimited budgets, it just takes a little time, not
Yeah.
just to plan and prepare and shoot, but to market that and to get that
Hmm.
into your distribution to see the ROI.
Hmm.
And it takes some time to learn how to do all of those things with video: plan, shoot, and market.
Hmm.
And even if you get help from us, again, there's still that learning curve. If you don't
Hmm.
get help from us, there's going to be even a longer learning curve.
Hmm.
But in 2 years, I used to say a year from now, you'll be glad that you got started today. But really, it's probably about 2 years.
Hmm.
And I would also say that, how long did it take you to get a website?
Hmm.
And I said, right now, we're still at a point where there is a first mover's advantage with video,
Hmm.
for doing it right. And I'm not just talking about like haphazardly just shooting this and that without any mind. You see a lot of that, like just,
Yeah.
people doing video without any
Hmm.
like real plan.
Yeah, and I think too, because I was going to ask you, just kind of piggybacking off of this question, like AI, do you feel, and I know that this is so controversial for a lot of people, but like obviously like with AI, like I can do an AI video on like just one of the color, like just a this is what this color means. This is where you could be wearing it, like a short, like a YouTube short. And
Mhm.
AI does a pretty good job of that. It's just an educational video. I'm not in it. I wrote the script, but it's, another voiceover. And I'm okay with doing that. I don't like to do any of the videos where it's me talking and you see other people on the screen because I never want them to think, oh, that must be Carrie, which it's not.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I also see where people do, and I'm curious on your thoughts on this if you think it's going to implement into video, but I see people who will do these their headshots. They have new headshots done, and then they go and they put it through like an AI filter where it makes it's not cleaning up the picture, making it look, like with lighting and everything. It's actually altering how you look. To where when you look at the picture and if you saw the person in person, you would walk right by him because it makes them look 20 years younger or, again, like just completely different. Do you feel like AI is going to be like where people are going to try to do videos where they're creating their own, and they're already starting to do it. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah,
you've seen it,
they're already
the
starting to
AI
do it. Yep.
avatar, or whatever. And I know some of the people who have done it, they're like, oh, you scan in your picture. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I wouldn't do it. But what are your thoughts with that? Do you feel like that's going to also be a player? And do you think that's going to take away from the trust factor, with
Yeah,
getting
people are
clients?
already doing it, and yeah, I think it will take away from the trust factor. I mean, the AI will get better, but
Hmm.
as you were even asking this question, you were using your hands in a certain way. And
Hmm.
right now, if with AI, when you prompt it, your hands will only do this, right? So
Oh,
you see this minute video of like hands just doing the same exact thing where I just
yeah,
went like this, right?
yeah,
There's nothing that can replace the human emotion and the tone and nothing, like again, who knows what's going to happen in a year, but
right.
certainly for right now, um, I think people don't want that. And
Hmm.
we have put AI some stuff AI components in videos we've done, and the
Hmm.
client has actually taken that out
Hmm.
because they didn't want that. They'd rather have just, like a static image versus an AI image, which we thought the AI was better,
Hmm.
which is why we did it. But they decided not to, which kind of tells me the status of the market right now. And with the videos that are like pictures and script and stuff like that, like sure, but that shouldn't be like a practice area overview video or a thought leadership video. Like there might be a place
Hmm.
and time for that with law firms. I'm not so sure for your company. Yeah,
Hmm.
it sounds like that's appropriate. So I would look at the appropriateness of the message
Hmm.
first and
Yeah.
then decide what type of content to create.
Yeah. And like I said, I've used it like for little shorts. I mean, it works good for that, like the YouTube shorts, and it puts it together pretty quickly. I give it the script and that's worked. But Again, I see a lot of these, and I can't remember some of the names of them, but they're you basically like you upload your photo and it makes a
Yeah,
whole
there's a lot
total
of them.
video. I'm like, oh my gosh. And what's scary to me about that is like, where is that going to go? Like, is that going to place you at the scene of a crime at some point? Or is somebody going to be able to take that video and manipulate it? I mean, it's really it's exciting, but it's scary to see where AI is going, and especially with, photos and videos and yeah, I mean yeah, I don't know. We'll have to
I don't know
see.
either. I
Well,
don't know
Robert,
either.
I want to
We're all,
I
we're all figuring it out together.
exactly. And I do want to thank you for being on the show today. Is there anything you want to share with our listening audience in closing? Anything coming up, any events or any news announcements you'd like to share?
Oof.
If not, that's okay.
No, I don't think so. No, I mean, just, I would say if you have any questions, like I always say, don't feel like you need to have a project ready to go to talk. We have a lot of thought leadership content and examples for attorneys and other businesses at our website, multivisiondigital.com.
Mhm.
Reach out, ask questions. That's what we're here for.
And I do have a link in the show notes below. So if people want to connect with you and learn more about the service, they can do so. Just click on the link in the show notes below. And again, Robert, it was a pleasure having you today on the
Awesome. Thank you,
show.
Sarah. Yes,
Thank you
awesome.
for joining
Grateful.
me. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. That is a wrap for today's episode of Chromatic Counsel. If you are an attorney or if you work in the legal sector and you'd like to be considered as a guest, click on the link in the show notes below. We would love to talk with you and see if you are a good fit for Chromatic Counsel. And if you liked what Robert shared and it resonated with you, I hope you will hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe so you know when we drop another video for Chromatic Counsel. And as always, I am wishing you continued success.